Hello and welcome to Arkiteasy. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create ceiling like this in Revit. And first of all, what we need to know is how this geometry is created, so we need to understand it. And as you can see, we have a square, but that square at this point has one point raised up, and it means that this surface is probably twisted. And as you can see, we have many of those squares. And to make this in Revit, in this tutorial, I will be using adaptive components. So let's go to File, click New, and then pick New Family. And then here, because we have a square pattern, I will just go to the generic model pattern based, click Open. And then as you can see, by default, we have a square pattern. If you select this grid, you will be able to pick the pattern you want. I will continue with the rectangle one. And then let's see, this is 1, 2.3 and number 4. So if I go back to our picture, I will say that this point here is number 1, this is number 2, then the one we are going to rise up is number 3, and this is number 4. So which means that I would like to create the point above the point 3. What I will do, I will go here to the set work plane. I'm gonna click on this work plane on a dot at the point 3, and then I will just go and I'm gonna create one more point. Then I will select that point and I'm gonna rise it up. And as you can see, we have the offset here. So for that offset, I will just click on this box here, associate family parameter, and I'm gonna create parameter which is going to be called as h. Let's say that's the height. Let's click OK. And if I now just go and make this to be 250, for example, you see that it works, or I can just go and make it 750. So this works well. And there is one thing I need to do in this case. Actually, when I select this, you see that we have the reference lines created. But what I need to do is to connect this point and then this one. So it means that this is going to be our surface. And to be able to do that, I will again go here to the set work plane. I'm gonna set it here. Let's take reference plane and let's go to 3D snapping. So we created this one, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. So this work plane, reference, 3D snapping on. So we have it, and we can make a quick check here. So if I select our grid, you see that we have the horizontal vertical spacing. So let's go to 3.5 meters by 3.5, for example. You see that it follows, and I can also select our dot, or I will just go here and I will just make this to be 500. So you see that this follows. So this is okay. And then I just need to select those two reference planes as well as those two. So I need to have them selected. Click here, create form, and then the form is going to be created. What I can do as well is to decrease the size, because you see that now we have the offset of 1 meter. So I would like to play with this maybe in my project file later on. So I will just click here, associate family parameter, and I'm gonna name this one as thickness. So just T. And I'm gonna make this to be, let's say, 25. And what we can also do is to select our geometry, and I can also assign material parameter, let's say as M, and we have this. So this is family 1. What I'm gonna do now is to save as this family, and this is going to be the name. So how we can take this into the project. And in the project file, I will just create one in-place mesh for this. So I will take rectangle. I'm going to create this at level 2. Just be aware that 3D snapping is off in this case. And let's make this rectangle to be, for example, 6 by 9 meters. Select this rectangle and go here to create form. And in this case, I can just delete everything, so I can have just this surface, I will go here to the white surface and I can make division. So I can just make, let's say, we have number 6 here, and then we could have number 9 here. So you see that we have 1 meter by 1 meter spacing. And I will then just take our family. I'm gonna load this one into the project. I will select our mesh, and then here instead of no pattern, I will just click on this 0 130. So here it comes. And what can I do is I can select it, and I can here also decrease its size, for example, to 20, and I can make this to 100. So you see how it looked like. It was actually quite simple, and I can just finish our mesh. Of course, that I can also turn off the meshes. The components are going to be here still, and I can even now maybe make this one to be 150. So you see that it's very flexible and we can play with it the way we want. But what's going on if you would like to make the other pattern, which is not twisted, bended, which has the straight line here? I'm going to show you that as well. And I will do the same thing. So I will go to the family, create new pattern based family. But what do we have here is that we have, let's say, 1, 2, let's go 1, 2, number 3 is raised up, but we have from 1 to 4 the straight line. So what I will do, actually from 1 to 3, so I will here set work plane. Let's take reference line, 3D snapping, and I will go from here to here. Then I will set reference plane here, and then I'm gonna make one more point. So I'm repeating the process. Select this dot, rise it up, and then create height parameter for it as well. And now what we need to do is to connect the dots. So you saw the process. And now I just need to select this triangle, create form. Let's create the thickness parameter. I will decrease thickness to, let's say, 20. And then I will select this reference line as well as those two. We'll create another form here. And for this form, I'm going to assign thickness as well. And we can, of course, create material parameter. Save this family. And let's load this one into the project. So now in our project, what I need to do is, for example, to turn on the meshes. Let's go to edit in place. So now I can, instead of this curved, just take this triangular board. I can, of course, decrease this to 100. And this is what we have. You see that it look different. So if I, for example, just go back to this quad, you see this one is bended while this one has a straight line, this flat face. And there's a difference, but I mean, what is very important is to understand how you can create it, what you can do with this. And I mean, this is pretty powerful tool, really, in Revit. And by the way, I don't need to forget that we can also assign material here because we added this one. So if I just go here to material, to open actually our family, we are able to add, it doesn't matter, let's say, this wood, and it will be applied to all those our components. I really hope that you're going to find this lesson useful, and if you would like to level up your modeling skills in Revit, just watch this tutorial.